Hi guys, I'm Krista and this is my big sister Stacey and this is Sister's Social Call.
We are two sisters talking about everything that sisters talk about. Welcome to our lives. Oh, well, hello, sissy.
Hey sis, how is it going?
It's going great tonight.
Good. What do we got going on in the episode today?
Well, we're very excited to be talking about something that Christy's very passionate about, very educated about. Christy is a hairstylist at Pura Vida Hair Co. in Regina Beach. In episode 10, Christy shared some of her hair knowledge on a variety of topics that she has gained over her 15 years of hairstyling. She discussed how often to wash your hair, dry shampoo, hair oils, and dry and damaged hair. I had lots of questions for Christy in that episode, so you may want to give that one a listen first before you listen on this one. But tonight, we're going to talk about summer hair and maybe a few other topics that get thrown in there because people are really interested in this topic. So, sis, I have a really long list again. Did you want to start with some introductory words?
Summertime is a very important time for people to take care of their hair. Summer can be a time that people just throw all hair care to the wind and hope for the best, and often come in the fall and their hair is trashed. This is important if you're an outdoors person, if you are in the water. It's important to take care of your hair at this time of the year. So, listeners, get your coffee, saddle up. We're going to have a good old-fashioned chat about what to do to take care of your hair. And I'll tell you guys, though I do love good product, I always think less is more. So my tips are for the regular, average, everyday human being that has hair and wants to take care of it.
Okay, let's go right to the beginning of a little bit of hair care in the summer. What do I need to know about sun damage to hair?
Okay, well, sun damage to hair is interesting. I wouldn't so much say sun damages the hair, but it definitely changes the hair. Hair will fade from the sun. It'll become dry. It'll become brittle. So for our little kids that are outside from morning to night, their hair can get it can be real shabby come the fall because the heat and the sun and the UV rays really do impact the hair. I hate to say damage because it would take a great deal of sun for it to get to the point where it's damaged beyond repair. But, if you're somebody that already teeters on the line of having some damaged hair already, perhaps from overuse of heat or like heat styling or from over processing, your hair's been a little bit overcolored, you're going to want to take a little extra caution when it comes to that. So yeah, lots of people love it where you come in with your natural highlights that have been created because you've been in the sun. So that's not necessarily always bad, but the sun, the weather can definitely pose some challenges in the hair, mostly causing dryness.
Okay, so in winter, my hair is dry, and you're telling me summer, my hair is dry. So is there a difference between dryness between winter and summer?
Yeah, I think that there is. I kind of read these questions before, and it is a bit different. And I think the dryness in the winter is often caused by, the weather is very cold and dry. But then we have our furnaces running all the time. And so our houses are dry. There's just not as much humidity in the air. And so it's caused from that more so than anything. And in the summertime, it's more just from the elements, the heat, the wind. So because people aren't really chilling out outside in the winter a whole big bunch. So I think it's mostly from just, we have our furnaces running. And because of that, it just strips out the moisture in your home. So then people's hair doesn't want to behave as well as it does when you have a little bit of humidity. I would say the dryness in the summertime is something more that you're going to want to add moisture back into the hair. I would say that it's the dryness from the sun is probably more permanent than it would be, say, from the heat in your house or like having no moisture in the air in your house kind of thing, right?
Does it feel different when you're styling, like when you're cutting hair between winter dryness and summer dryness?
In the winter when hair's dry, it is staticky. In the summer when it's dry, it feels kind of coarse, wiry. It's different. Not a lot of static usually in the summertime. So there is a big difference in that.
Does your hair grow more in the winter or summer or fall out more in the winter or summer?
I think that hair does go through a time where it does grow a bit more than others. I do have clients that kind of swear by it being in the summer, but I will say that's not for everybody. But I have clients that will go from a 5-week haircut schedule to 4 in the summertime because they find their hair grows more. It just doesn't stay in shape as well. However, it can be different for every single person. Like there is no real science behind that. And even for hair loss, I think that a human being does do a shed at very least once a year.
Okay, let's talk about water and how it impacts hair. Let's talk about fresh water first. What does that do to hair?
Fresh water can actually be a bit hydrating to the hair. It can be less drying than, say, a salt water. It can dull the hair, and it can also kind of create a bit of a buildup on it, fresh water, and it can weigh the hair down. Like if you ever see, for instance, kids, for me, I can totally tell when the kids have not had a shower in a couple days and they've been in on the whippet because they come in and their hair is, it's not so greasy, but it's lake hair.
What does lake hair feel like to you?
A bit gritty, but a bit, not greasy, but a bit gritty, and it just a bit, it feels like there's a bit of buildup on it or something.
Okay, salt water. What does salt water do for those folks that live out by the ocean?
Well, some people love salt water, beach hair, you know? They love the salt water because it adds texture into the hair. Heck, they sell salt sprays for people to put in their hair so they get that like beachy kind of textured hair. So yeah, it adds volume, it adds texture. People love that. It can be quite drying to the hair. It will fade, like a color will fade quite a bit if you're in the salt water. Definitely can cause some fading of your color, natural or colored, but more so colored hair. And then it creates tangles, the salt water. Your hair can get super tangly, and then it's a real pain in the butt to brush out and all that stuff. I would say you'd have to be like a mermaid for it to be really bad. You know what I'm saying? Everything in moderation, including the amount of time you're spending in the salt water. But as adults, I wouldn't say too many of us are dolphin diving for hours on end in the ocean, you know, like
we are so landlocked. We're not anywhere near the ocean.
Exactly. So for the small amount that we spend in the ocean, perhaps once a year, once every 5 years, we're fine. Don't stress about it.
Okay. And then the last water, how about chlorinated water, like pool water?
Yeah, that's one that's a bit hard on the hair. Chlorine will strip your hair of its natural oils pretty quickly. It actually breaks down the protein, keratin, that your hair is made out of. So it really affects the hair. It can cause it to be brittle quite quickly as well. It can cause discoloration. So if you are a light, blonde haired person, sometimes your hair can pick up that tinge of green from being in the pool a lot. I often see this on children as well. Speed swimmers, even though they wear a cap, their hair still gets wet. And I have definitely seen that on speed swimmers. It can cause a buildup on the hair. So right away, I tell people, if you're a swimmer in chlorine, you need a clarifying shampoo first and foremost. And if I have somebody come in, I can feel it. It feels like wet spaghetti noodles when I wash their hair. Right away, I go in with a hair detoxifier, and I'm 2-3 good solid shampoos to break through that. Works like a dream.
Okay, so you said 2 things that I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around.
Okay.
So the chlorine strips your scalp of oils, I think is what I heard. But at the same time, the chlorine does build up on your hair strands. Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah. So like the chemical chlorine will build up on your hair strands, but it's so stringent. Chlorine is such a stringent chemical that it'll totally just strip your hair of its natural oil.
Huh. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It seems contradictory. Right?
It kind of does. You would think that it would be stripping everything, including itself, out of the hair.
Yeah.
But I think over time, it just, because chlorine is an additive, I think it just builds up on the hair. It's so stringent that it just takes away all the beautiful natural oil that your scalp naturally produces. I will say one thing though, that doesn't mean it's on everyone. It doesn't mean that it's like somebody with like really oily hair, like maybe they may like that. They may be like, sweet, my hair's not as freaking greasy. I'm in the chlorine. It's great. Somebody's really fine, super blonde hair, it may be a total disaster. And their hair may turn green right away because there's that buildup of chlorine on their hair. But then also stripping out that natural oil out of it can make it into just a big old rat's nest. So it's not that everybody's going to experience these things. It's just worst case scenario stuff, So go swim your laps. Be in the pool, buy a clarifying shampoo, you'll be fine. If you got kids that are in the water all the time, get them a clarifying shampoo, trim their hair regularly.
Okay, I guess that leads into what do we need to do to help protect our hair from sun and water? What are your hot tips?
My biggest hot tip is number one, use a UV protectant spray. You can find them probably at any place that sells professional hair care product. Number two, wear a hat, big time. That helps your hair. Number three, if you're a swimmer, wear a swim cap. Even though your hair still gets wet, it's not getting quite as much exposure to the chlorine. And when you're done, wash your hair with a clarifying shampoo. Those are my hot tips.
Awesome.
That's pretty much like, don't make it complicated, you know? If you don't want to do all the above, just wash your hair afterwards with a clarifying shampoo. Sometimes they're called swimmer shampoos at the store.
Okay. Well, thank you for all the sun and water hair tips. I want to turn it over now to blonde hair. It is such a summer tradition for people to lighten their hair. And I know the sun also lightens your hair. I never did this, but I know lots of people that did. Put in lemon juice or like sun into their hair when we were younger to just lighten their hair. So do you want to talk about some summer blonde coloring?
I can tell you a couple funny stories. One, when I was younger, before I was ever doing hair, definitely, I used lemon juice in my hair and squeezed it all over, proceeded to lay in the sun and got like a chemical burn from the acidity and then the sun.
Oh my God, I don't remember that.
I don't think you were probably around. I feel this was like me and a Megs type thing or something, but I remember it was only in the spots that my hair would have been. And that was horrific. And then since then, I've had clients come in and tell me that happened to them.
That is probably a good life lesson that you just shared with lots of people. Don't put lemon juice in your
don't do
hair.
that to yourself. If you're going to go bake in the sun, do not squeeze fresh lemon or lime juice or any citrus on you. It could be problematic for sure. The other one too is, I remember there was like sun in. I remember us using that, mom using that. That was a thing back in the day. And there's another one out there. Anyways, a client of mine used it last year. It did lighten her hair up, not to like a super beautiful color. It did create quite a bit of lightness. So the hair felt like straw. It was awful. So very drying to the hair. Very counterproductive to what you want to do.
So when somebody lightens their hair for summer, what are some of the things that they should be doing to make sure that they keep that quality of that color that you put in over the summer when they're in the water? Is there something different that blondes should do in particular?
Most of the time, even if they want a golden blonde, I will still suggest using a toning shampoo once every 2 weeks. It just neutralizes some of those brassy tones, even though your hair does have more golden tones in it. It still takes out that harsh brassiness that can be caused from the summer sun. I 100% tell them you need the leave-in conditioner that has the UV protectant. Like, you need that. That's important. And then clarifying shampoo. Depending on the color of blonde, really, there's so many different tones of blonde. Everybody's got a different recipe for what I would tell them to do. Somebody that comes in with a white blonde, I have one. One of my dear clients, Yannicka, who I love so greatly, she's my platinum blonde girl. Her hair can be the way it is because she uses all the product at the right times. Right now she came in, she's already starting to feel her hair being dry. I'm like, okay, you need to switch from the botanical repair, which I put all my blondes on because blonde can be harsh on the hair. And I said, now you need to also put in the hydrating. So you got to add some moisture into that. So hydration, leave-in conditioners, hair masks, all the goodness, especially if you're blonde, because though I tell everybody this, when you are blonde, you do not always have the healthiest hair, but you have to use the product to give the illusion that you do. Because blonde, I mean, not all blondes have damaged hair, but when you lighten somebody's hair, you take out all the goodness in their hair. You are lifting everything out of it. So it becomes compromised a bit. It becomes a bit more susceptible to breakage, susceptible to dryness, all that stuff. So you have to use the product. And I literally, if people refuse to buy the right product and I'm not somebody that says you need to go home with 10 products, as I've said on our last hair one. But if you're not going to take care of it properly and it's not going to look good out of the salon, then don't, I'll say, then this isn't the hair color for you. Because if you want to have platinum, icy, white blonde like Yannicka, you have to use the right products to make it look good, to keep it looking good. People go up to her and ask her all the time, how do you get your hair that way? It is 100% the product she uses at home. In between, I mean, I get her there, but she comes every 8 weeks. That's unheard of for a platinum blonde like that, unless they have 3 inches of regrowth and only come a couple times a year. But she comes every 8 weeks. That's incredible because she does a great job at home. So yeah, for my blondes, it's really, everybody's got their own little personal recipe is what I would suggest. But again, when you are blonde, I would say hydration, especially in the summertime, using a nice moisturizing hair mask or even a moisturizing shampoo and conditioner kind of as your regular, and then throw in the toning shampoo and conditioner kind of every so often.
Okay. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I want to talk about gray hair. I'm going to ask one of my questions about gray hair first, and then then we got 2 questions from a friend about gray hair, and then I'll ask those ones.
Great. Okay. Fire away.
Yep. So my first question is actually, it is related to summer and gray hair. So my hair is lightening and my grays are coming in super hot. What would you recommend somebody in this hair transition? And is summer a good time to be going through this because our hair is lightening?
Okay. Question number 1.
Okay.
For you. Are you asking for yourself because you don't have colored hair?
No, I think this would be if I'm just going to age with my gray hair.
Yeah, totally. So whatever you're doing is working. Don't adjust anything. Just carry on and let your grays grow in and keep doing what you're doing.
Is gray blending the right time to be doing in the summertime because their hair is lightening?
The hair just doesn't lighten that significantly for most people in the summertime. It does a little bit, but for most of us, we're working women and we don't just get to lay in the sun all day and night. But I'd say there's any time's a good time if you're feeling up for transitioning your hair into being more natural. Go for it. Summertime, I would say, is maybe a little more on point because lots of people, even though they maybe don't go like super blonde for the summer, they still often will add dimension by adding some different tones of highlights in there. So sure, I wouldn't say it's a bad time, but I also don't think there's any bad time. But yeah, I mean, if you're thinking, well, I want to add in a few highlights anyways, sure. I got all kinds of babes on the journey at this present moment. It's quite fun, actually. I really enjoy helping people go from, it's not even that people are totally stopping coloring their hair, but as opposed to coming in and getting a root touch up done every 3 to 5 weeks for people that are 100% gray, they're having their gray become the highlight and then adding in either brighter highlights. So some of my babes going to get the more platinum highlights in there to break up some of that gunmetal gray, or they're getting low lights put in to add dimension. But they're only having to get their hair colored 3 to 4 times a year, which when you've been coming in every 3 to 5 weeks, that is a serious savings, number 1, on financial, your time. It is brilliant. And I know people are like, other hairstylists like, well, you're losing out that business. I'm sorry. I'm creating trust with my clients because that is far more valuable to me than the money. That's just not how my brain works. I do not think, of course I own a business and, but at the end of the day, I want what is best for my clients because that's my job.
That's beautiful, sis. So I had 2 questions about gray hair that I got from a friend.
It's great that you asked that because I think with our podcast, that we're into this conversation because we're at the age where we are experiencing more gray hair growth and we're just at that age where our hair is changing. So this is great.
Yeah. First question about gray hair. As we are like our age, are we getting more gray hair or is our hair becoming more resistant to color?
I would say, I don't know. No to both of those. I think our hair, gray hair itself can be resistant. It's just we learn, like this is known to man, that gray hair can be more coarse, it can be more wiry, it can be more resistant just in itself. So as you have more gray hair, you may notice your hair is not, if you're trying to color it, it's not taking the color as it did last year because you're getting more gray hair than what you previously had. So then, as a professional, that's my job to adjust your formula because that's what we do to accommodate that. So if you're at home and you're box dyeing your hair, the box color is not like a magician like we are. It doesn't know that your hair has gotten more resistant, you know? And so oftentimes people will be, if they're at home colors, just like, oh, my hair is just not doing what it used to. Well, because hair changes just like everything else. You know, it doesn't stay the same. And, you know, as we age, we get more gray hair. Some people do, some people don't. I have a few clients that were 100% gray in their 20s. So I wouldn't say that we're getting more gray hair and that we're more resistant to it, but as for the person who asked the question, it could just be more so that their gray hair is changing. They've maybe gone from 50% gray to now 75% gray. Well, and if it's a little bit coarse and if it's a little bit resistant, then you're going to have to compensate for that.
My second question has to do with products that like do root touch-ups in between. So I don't know, there's probably some powders and some sprays out there. Are you familiar with these, and do you have anything to say about them?
Well, I am. I totally know that they're out there. I have lots of clients that use them. I'm all for them. You know, if it gets you through, and great, use it. One thing, you know, if your hair is resistant gray, I will tell you that if you do that, do your hairstylist a favor and make sure that shit is out of your hair before you go get your roots done. And some of it, you know, if it's an aerosol, can be quite drying to the hair. I would say a powder might be probably really nice. There's kind of little mascaras that you can go do kind of on your root or whatever. Probably something that's just like almost like a mascara that you'd put on your eyelashes, but in your hair. Fine. That just probably washes out the minute you wash your hair. But yeah, honestly, I think that those are okay. It's the root touch-up stuff that people use in between. That's essentially like a box color.
That could really, if they're using like that with like a professional.
It's just hilarious to me because it doesn't look good. So just don't do it. Like it still looks like you need a root touch-up. So lay off on the root touch-up. In between, it's no bueno. No bueno.
Maybe talk to your hairstylist about gray blending.
Yeah, and if they don't know what the hell I'm talking about, tell them to phone me. Pure Vita Hair Co. Ask for Krista. I'm so all about this like gray blending thing in my life right now that it's something that I almost would consider myself like specializing in. I do so much of it. It is awesome, and it's one of my favorite things to do. It gives these women the most amazing confidence in themselves with their hair and their hair color. They still feel young and youthful because they're still having a little bit of color in there and dimension, but they don't have the commitment of having that root touch up. It is such an incredible service to provide.
2 more summer questions. Any summer hair trends that you've noticed this year?
Well, what I have been doing, which is shocking, but I have been some of my clients are going darker.
Interesting. What's that about?
Not a clue.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm here for it as well. I'm down with it. I think it's kind of a great thing. It doesn't mean that they're going dark all over, but you know, adding some darker lowlights to maybe they're already lived in blonde. But yeah, so I think what's really kind of trendy right now in the whole world of hair is, you know, the kind of golden blonde tones. Hooray for those. I love them. They are so natural and beautiful. So that kind of warm, golden, soft, the beachy soft waves, not such beachy harsh, but a nice beachy soft wave. That's kind of something that's always on. But yeah, warm, soft coppers. Of course, copper is warm, but like a soft, coppery, in my head, I'm like a level 7, but that's not what people know. So I'd be like a medium blonde. Even still kind of a lived-in blonde that's got the darker roots. That's still very, very trendy. I think it's going to be in style for a long time because it's just natural looking. I think that the old curtain bangs are dissipating a little bit.
I'm not sad about that.
Well, you know, I liked them when they were happening. I think that I think what's coming back in is a bit more of a fuller bang, fringe. I think that's kind of coming in. And I also think there might be a bit of a shift from the old center part to a little off center.
My favorite. I've been rocking the side part my whole adult life.
Yes, that's so funny. I have 2 sisters that come to me, and Brie and Taylor. They'll if they're listening, they'll think this is hilarious that I'm telling the story. But Taylor's, you know, parts down the center. Brie has this great side part. She's rocked it forever. I've been doing this babe's hair for a million years. But anyways, they're always picking on each other. But last time I didn't do their hair at the same time together. But anyways, Brie gets hers done. And so I said, well, are we doing the side part or what are we up to? And she's like, I think I'm going to try the middle. And then she just starts laughing. She's like, yeah, Taylor said to me, yeah, Brie, you're like 5 years too late for the center, but hey, we went for it. So we put her into the center. It looks super cute. So, I mean, it's nice to be able to be versatile with your hair too. It's nice to have fun with it. It's one thing in your life that you can change that doesn't, and maybe I've said this before, but it's a quote I always say. I've coined this quote myself, but it's one thing in your life you can always change that doesn't affect your life too drastically. It's not a divorce. That's what I always tell people. It's better to get your hair colored than get a divorce. So let's start there. So just have fun with it. Yes, there's always these like trends, but if you don't feel comfortable in something in your hair, you can see it all over you, right? So rock what you got and own it. Because if you feel good, then you will always look good.
I actually just thought of one more question. Did you see any grad trends?
I had no grads, but I had a wedding last weekend to do hair for.
What did you do for their hair?
Well, it was a mixed bag of everything. So it was 7 people that got their hair done. So the first gal, power pony, her words exactly.
Oh, high and tight.
High, curled, volume, power pony. And this girl was like, great, thick hair, beautiful. So power pony. Then we had a kind of a half up, half down, just beachy waves. Looked really cute. No crazy braids or anything. Then I had the bride. She did like an up, kind of like a higher up messy bun, and then had some hair kind of hanging down around her face, very natural looking. And then she actually wore a veil under the bun, a big long veil. Gorgeous. Then I had another updo, which I was surprised. I thought most of these girls would have like more the longer beachy waves, whatever. It was kind of a twist. It's on the Pure Vita Hair Co. Instagram page on a reel, but it's a twist kind of into some loops and then a little fanned out coming out like, oh, I surprised myself busting that one out. She didn't come in for a trial or anything, so it's full on the spot. Holy cripes. So they all turned out so beautiful. And then both the mums, they both kind of had a half up, half down. One of the mums had tons of hair. One has really fine hair. So just kind of worked with what they had. And then another gal, super long hair. She had a fringe and she just wanted beachy waves. Totally her jam. So I just did that. Like, it was great. So I kind of went in thinking that I'd be doing more like long beachy curls and was totally surprised.
Yeah, that is a variety that you really nailed that day.
It was a variety, but I loved it. It was something different. I didn't do wedding hair for probably 6 years. I didn't do any wedding hair. I would do grads, but last year I did a couple weddings and I really enjoyed it. And so this year I said, I'll do a couple weddings. Just, I don't want to do a lot of them because they're typically on the weekends and I don't work weekends, but I've had so much fun doing them that I think I'm going to open up a few more weekends next summer for wedding hair.
That's fun. It's a great way to be creative. Thank you, sis. I love doing the hair episodes with you so much because you have so much good information. And I think I have a million questions. I like asking them, but I know that I'm asking questions that are relevant to so many of our listeners. And if our listeners want to send in questions about hair, oh my goodness, please do. We're happy to either answer them in a direct message or we can do it on a show in the future.
I enjoy talking a lot about hair too. I like when we have these conversations because I think that we probably can answer questions that lots of people have and perhaps help them in their own hair journey. So I like having our little hair chats too.
Awesome. Okay. I think we should move on to our peaks, pits, and plans this week.
Yes, we should. You start. I'm talking.
Okay. Again, a week where I don't have any pits, which is just, man, I'm so grateful that things are just so lovely and easy peasy breezy.
So good, Stacey. That is the best news ever to hear that.
Yeah. Peaks. Well, it was just a really chill weekend for Shauna, which was much needed after so many weeks of traveling. And my friend opened up her yoga studio this weekend, and I am a lover of the yoga practice.
I can't wait to try it when I'm out there next time.
And it is beautiful. And for Kelsey, I know she's one of our listeners. congratulations. It was not lost on me when I got to practice with you on Monday in your first class. What a milestone she has achieved by opening up her own studio.
Congratulations to Kelsey.
Yeah, it goes for any person that puts their blood, sweat, and tears into a business and gets to that point. It was not lost on me. What a wonderful day. And to be able to practice in her first class on Monday, it was amazing. We were invited for a barbecue at one of Sean's friends. Like, it was very impromptu. And I needed a salad, but I didn't have one. And then they said, don't worry about bringing any food. So that was great. But if you listen to the previous episode, you'll know why you need to have a salad ready.
Where was your backup salad
Exactly
when you needed it?
I know. I need to have more food happening, I think, is my problem. And then on Sunday, I had a cooking class, my last summer cooking class with Ames, and it was 3 great weeks of great summer cooking. I have some really great summer meals now. And I went for an MRI today. And some people would think that that's kind of a pit, but it wasn't, because like Chrissy with her mammogram last week and her ultrasound, like, I'm so happy that I am mostly healthy. And these are just some testing that I can have access to because I have some numbing and tingling going on in my neck and arms and wrists and hands. And so just trying to get to the bottom of it. But overall, I'm quite healthy. So that's my peaks and plans. It's the long weekend in Canada this weekend coming up. It's Canada Day on the 1st. And so our not brother, but brother from another mother, his name is Neil, is coming out to visit us this weekend. So we got 3 or 4 days of hanging out with brother Neil. This will be somewhere in his 16th or 17th visit to us. That's why he has the name Brother Neil, because he's here quite often.
And he has his own suite. I have to stay in his suite when I stay there. I'm the real sister, and he's the fake brother, and I have to stay in my fake brother's suite.
It's true. When Neil stayed here for his 10th time, we named the guest room after him. And whoever stays in here next on their 10th visit will get the other room named after them. It's
Holy, I better start getting out there.
Yeah, you and J-Mo, another one of Sean's friends, are probably tied right now for most visits. So
I gotta put the brakes on J-Mo.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll see him again this summer here. I'll see him later on. But yes, the next person to reach 10 will get the other guest room named after them. So yeah, anyways, it'll be a lovely weekend. Canada Day is one of my most favorite holidays. It's my second most favorite holiday of the year, actually. It comes with its challenges of weighing our Canadian history against that of Indigenous communities. But for us growing up, it was a time, actually, and even in our adulthood, when we'd come out to the beach and our family would just miraculously always be together for fireworks. And it's just good vibes. It's good food. It's good weather, usually good people around. So I love Canada Day. How about you, sis?
Okay, I don't have any pits this week.
Oh my God, you don't have any car stories. You didn't blow a tire out anywhere.
No, blowing out tires this week. My peaks. Well, a big peak was doing the wedding hair. That was great. It was so awesome. Last night I had supper with Mom, so that was really fun. Frick, we got cracking up. My mom is sitting there telling me, she has a seasonal campsite out here at the lake, and we're sitting at a campsite, and she's telling me, she's got birds flipping all over, and there's a robin nest. And there's eggs in it, right in her little awning thing. And she's like, I'm not really one for birds. I don't like them very much. And then she goes, well, oh, that must be the dad robin, the male robin, because I think he does like the lookout and the mom. And then she's like saying all this stuff. I'm like, okay, coming from a lady who doesn't like birds much, you sure have a lot to say. So we were laughing pretty hard about that last night. We always get giggling when we're together. So
well, like we talked last week, going like all of a sudden you're in your like 40s, I don't even know, and beyond, you become a birder instantly. It's like, how does this happen?
I know. I had 2 doves on my deck, and I posted it on my Instagram story.
Yeah.
Like, I had 2 doves show up, but honestly, I looked up the significance of doves. I wish I would have put this down, but one of them was spiritually like that the doves are loved ones that are looking over you and there. I was like, oh my gosh, that's my Aunt Jean and Uncle Bob sending doves down to me.
Oh, my heart. Of course. That's beautiful.
I know, because I've not ever seen them before on my deck ever. Ever. I know that they're around because people will tell me that they have doves, but I, like in my yard, no. So I felt that was aside from my loved ones. So anyways, very cool. My doves too. My peonies are blooming, which I am loving, and I cut some and they're in my house. My house smells amazing. And then, I've just been feeling so exhausted lately. So I was like, okay, Krista, you need to just get your shit together. Because I have been not eating super great because I'm in a rush always. So on Monday, I meal prepped, I made energy balls, I did like a chicken bowl kind of thing, got that ready for the week. I made this lemon square thing because Stacey made one and then I had FOMO, so then I had to make it because she had it and I didn't. So I'd do that. But anyways, and then last night I made a couple loaves of sourdough bread. I prepped them, but I just haven't taken the time to do that. And then sometimes I just feel so tired at the end of the day. But really, what I need to do at the end of the day is do those kinds of things because they give me energy, like painting, cooking, like that kind of stuff. And I have almost been, I don't know, I've been in like a little bit of a rut. So I did all that stuff this week and I'm feeling real good. Like I'm coming out, I think. I'm coming out. So that's great.
Cooking is where I get my flow state from. I can be in the kitchen for hours cooking.
Yeah, that's really your place for sure. You know what? I was thinking about that. Like, what really do I love? Like, what are those things that I was like, you know what I need to do? I need to be in my kitchen. I need to meal prep. I've been saying for weeks that I need to make another batch of lip balm. And and then I got a new batch of kombucha on the go. I did that on Monday too. And so I haven't been, I've just, I haven't been I have time, but I get home and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired. But that's what gives me my jam too. Like, it doesn't necessarily need to be cooking, but crafting, cooking, tinkering in my kitchen too. And so, yes, I'm meant to be a farm wife. Mark, if you ever listen to an episode, I'm ready for that job. Anyway, let's get on to my plans. So I don't have a lot. I'm working straight gardening all weekend because the weeds are taking over my life because it's been raining and I haven't had time to be in the garden. So I am going to be inundated. Like, I'm going to be working sun up till sundown, picking weeds this weekend. I need to get ahead of it. So I need that to happen this weekend. And then Mark and I are actually in a golf tournament on Monday, which we got on a team together. So that's going to be fun because we've been together 6 years. We've never done a golf tournament together.
Oh, that will be fun.
It'll be fun. And then it's Canada Day, and I'll be coming home Canada Day night. So I don't know if Mark wants to come here for the day and do the parade and stuff, that'd be cool. But if not, I'll just seize the day and do keep getting caught up around the farm, the garden, cut the grass again. Like, I'm just after the fire, I just can't keep the grass short enough. So I've been mowing like a crazy lady. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for me. Honestly, just a super chill week. Again, like, this is kind of how my life is going to be probably for the foreseeable future because it's just the summertime for me. But yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for us. Wow, we covered a lot in this. We've got a lot of topics going on here.
Lots of hair things to talk about.
Oh, it's endless. I love it. But anyways, thank you for asking me all the questions because I do love talking about hair.
It's evident.
I like talking in general, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah. Evident.
I know, it's a thing. Anyways, thank you so much for listening, so much for tuning into Sisters Social Call, for being a part of our fun. If you guys like what you're listening to, please share with your friends and family, all that good stuff. There might be an episode that you think really fits somebody, send it along. And you can find us on Instagram under Sister Social Call. Stacey, you can find her on LinkedIn or Facebook, and myself on all the things: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And I think that's going to wrap it up for us. Sis, you got anything you want to say to our listeners?
Thank you so much. Anyways, love you, sis.
Love you too, sis.